Il 18 giugno 1953 viene proclamata la Repubblica. Nasser presiede il Consiglio della Rivoluzione che designa capo dello Stato il generale Naguib.
Under Nasser, Soviet-Egyptian relations had blossomed. But Sadat felt it was a mistake to rely solely on Russian backing.
Anwar Sadat had a Western inclination for so long. He didn't like the Soviet Union and wished within himself for the United States to solve the problem.
Sadat once famously said that if the Middle East was a deck of cards, then America held 99% of them.
It was clear that the United States stood 100% with Israel. So it was, in President Sadat's opinion, very important to drive a wedge, if I may say so, or to try to introduce an Egyptian element to this bilateral relations between the United States and Israel.
In July 1972, Sadat expelled 8,000 Soviet military experts from Egypt. If the move was calculated to attract American attention, then it succeeded.
We began to have a second look and a third look and a fourth look at President Sadat. And we said, well, there is an opportunity here. And certainly we ought to explore what the man really has in mind.
In February 1973, Sadat's special advisor, Hafez Ismail, was invited to Washington to meet President Nixon and his national security advisor, Henry Kissinger.
Dr. Kissinger said that you cannot expect to win on the negotiating table what you lost on the battlefield.
But Sadat insisted that control of the Sinai was non-negotiable and that the land would be retaken by force if necessary.
I can say to you in all candor, we didn't believe him. We didn't know Sadat very well. His reputation at that time was, and I mean no derogatory evaluation, his reputation at that time was as a hot-headed nationalist.
Wounded by Israel's dismissive attitude and the American condescension, Sadat calculated that he would only be taken seriously by going on the offensive. The Egyptian president coordinated with his Syrian counterpart, Hafez al-Assad, on plans to launch war against Israel. But the Syrian president was kept in the dark about Sadat's grand scheme.
Sadat never admitted to Assad that his war aims were very limited. He merely wanted to cross the canal and stay there. And he believed if he simply captured a few inches of territory on the eastern side of the canal, that would be sufficient to bring Israel to the negotiating table.
On October 6, 1973, in a joint operation, the Syrians attacked in the Golan Heights as Egyptian forces crossed the Suez Canal, capturing a narrow strip of land in Sinai, but went no further.
The Syrians sent several messages, of course, to Egypt to find out what was going on. Why weren't the Egyptians attacking? Nobody seemed to understand.
Richard Nixon's visit to Egypt in 1974 appeared to emphasize this new relationship. Officially, he received a hero's welcome, as Sadat became infatuated with the West. Sadat needed to find a way to divert attention from the consequences of his social and economic policies. And before the end of the year, 1977, he had succeeded. Having endured a period of enormous unpopularity as president, Sadat was now reveling in his new title, the peacemaker.
Sadat did not understand how hard it was going to be. He really thought it was going to be easy after he broke what he called the psychological wall.
The peace effort suffered many setbacks, but under American sponsorship, President Jimmy Carter invited Egyptian and Israeli representatives to Camp David in September 1978.
Salam, shalom, and to peace.
By now, Sadat was more convinced than ever that the destiny of the Middle East lay in American hands. But the people themselves were now suffering as the promised economic miracle failed to materialize.